Hey everybody, this is Martha. I want to do this video today about my faith. Um, and even though I'm using it for my MS story and on my Facebook group called Martha's Stem Cell Story, I kind of want to do it a slightly different um, because I want to use it in other ways as well. So I'm going to start off and introduce myself. My name is Martha, and I have this YouTube channel as well as a Facebook group kind of documenting my journey through living with multiple sclerosis and my journey towards getting treatment with stem cells in Panama City. So a huge part of that journey, and I guess you'd have to say the foundation of that journey, has been my faith. And a big part of that has been tithing. And I know that's a topic that, people are a little, about talking about, but I want to talk about it because it is it's the only reason we financially have survived through this. So I wanted to share that with you guys. A while back, probably a year or two ago, has to be at least 2 years ago, I decided to start tithing. And I just, after having listened to so many people talk about um, basically having no money in the bank the day they write that check, and how God had blessed them and taken care of them, and there would always be that check in the mail that covered them until payday. So no matter what, Sunday would roll around, I'd write that check. I didn't even look in the checking account to see how much money I had. I wrote the check. And so that kind of trucked along. And then this past December, and I don't even know if I've said this to people following my MS journey, but this past December, um, December 1st, my father-in-law was diagnosed with brain cancer on December 2nd. They told us that it was terminal and he only had a few weeks to live. On December 3rd, I called my sister-in-law to let her know. She and my brother-in-law were in Las Vegas doing a little mini vacation, and that Friday night had watched or had gone to the George Strait concert. So I was like kind of tapping my fingers waiting on 8 o'clock, Las Vegas time to roll around so I could call them and tell them. And so it just kind of went downhill from there. December 7th, um, my brother died. Um, he was on the sidewalk in front of Walmart ringing the bell for the Salvation Army. And to be blunt, he just dropped dead on the sidewalk. That was on a Wednesday. That Saturday is the Saturday that we brought my father-in-law home from the hospital. And hospice pretty much met us at the door when we got home. And at that point, I hadn't even told my mother-in-law about my brother yet. But it's also the day that our 12-year-old lab pretty much stopped moving. Wouldn't get up, wouldn't go outside to use the bathroom, wouldn't get up to eat. She weighs 96 pounds, so it's not like you can just pick her up and put her outside. So by the grace of God, I have a friend who is a veterinarian and came to our house to put her down. So that was Sunday. With brain cancer, it's horrible, and my father-in-law declined daily, and we were all there almost 24/7. And the following Sunday, he passed away. Back up to Wednesday, that's when we had my brother's funeral. So we had my brother's funeral one Wednesday and my father-in-law's funeral the following Wednesday. So pretty much the month of December, I did not work. Thank goodness I had benefits at work where I have, bereavement pay, that kind of thing. But having MS, it's severely affected by stress. The emotional stress is the worst. So that was a pretty horribly stressful, emotional month. So I did go back to work after Christmas. Only worked about 3 weeks. I stopped working on January 3rd because my MS symptoms were just getting worse and worse. And it was kind of hard to tell, what it was. Was it, depression or MS or what? Um, but I did take short-term disability, seeing my doctor regularly, addressing depression, um, you know, and then on to the neurologist. My MS was stable as far as, what the MRI looked like. But the neurologist said that I was having what's called a pseudo relapse, which means the disease itself is stable, but because of the amount of stress I was under, the symptoms that I already had were worse, and they just got worse and worse and worse. So um, throughout this time, I mean, it takes time before your disability check kicks in, and it's really just a fraction of your paycheck. And we did fine financially. We did fine. We did more than fine. There was never a zero in the bank account on payday. Um, and considering, you know, I had no paycheck, my disability check was much smaller than my paycheck would have been. I had tons more prescriptions and, tons more doctor's office visits. So I'm not bringing in as much money and I'm spending a lot more money. We were fine financially. Um, Never even felt a stress or a struggle financially. Then came, I can't even tell you how. I mean, I know a couple of people who've gone to Panama City for stem cell treatment and have come back and have been fine. I guess I just, well, I guess I do remember. The state of Texas had a health committee, and a few people that had gone to Panama City for stem cell treatment testified. And so I know a couple of those people, so I saw it on Facebook. So I just, went ahead and looked at that Stem Cell Institute and just, fill out an application, see what happens. So my application was accepted. They sent me what my protocol would be and the cost was right at $25,000. And I didn't have $25,000. So I just emailed everybody that's ever traveled with me on a pilgrimage, and I said, "Hey, I need your prayers. This is an opportunity, and I need you guys to pray for me and pray that I will know what God's will is for me." And they did. And then I started getting phone calls of, "Okay, so when are we going to do fundraisers? What kind of fundraising we're going to do?" That kind of thing. So my 3 grown sons got together. Um, Thomas, the middle one, he's the one kind of instigated it, and talked to his brothers, and they set up a You Caring page for me, which is it's a fundraising page that does not take a percentage of the money that people donate to you. So we put that out there, and to be honest, it was kind of slow, and I was a little bit nervous about whether or not we were going to raise the money. And through talking to people, some people gave me ideas on how I could come up with money, and my husband and I were able to come up with almost $10,000 of that. And had you told me, like, 3 months ago or 3 months before that we could come up with $10,000 that wasn't out of our savings or checking, I'd probably call you a liar. I mean, I just had no idea. So, talking to people who were praying and loving me and everything kind of sent me in that direction. And so, I kind of in my mind had a deadline for stem cell treatment. I'm going on another pilgrimage in October, and I wanted to get stem cell treatment, a month or two before that, to give the stem cells hopefully enough time to make, so that I would feel better so I could go. So I took a leap of faith and I called them and I'm like, how do I make an appointment? What do I need to do? And it required $800 deposit that was non-refundable to make my appointment. And so I took that leap of faith. I did it. And I also chose August 15th as my start date for my treatment. And August 15th is a Marian feast day, the Assumption of Our Lady. And so I just felt like that was not just 2 months prior to going to the Holy Land, but it's just a really good religious, faithful day to start this, you know. So I went ahead and took that leap of faith and did that. And after I did that, um, really and truly, people just started donating money left and right. I mean, all the horrible things you hear on social media, on the news, whatever, about, what our society is like right now, going through this experience, I can tell you that, our community is full of love, full of prayers, and full of community, full of taking care of each other. I had people mail me checks. I had people stop at my house to see how I was doing, and give me a check on their way out the door. Um, I had people give me money from all over the United States and um, and internationally. I had somebody internationally send me money, um, and send me. I mean, it's a $500 donation. That's pretty sizable donation. So it kind of started blowing my mind away, the amount of the number of people, the people willing to give, $20, $25, $500, $2,500. I mean, it was almost ridiculous to go. I mean, just awe. I guess awe is the only word for it. Um, so then I had kind of been watching the airline tickets and the cost, and it wasn't that expensive to go to Panama. But as soon as the tickets went up, $5 or $10, I was like, okay, God, I'm buying tickets. Um, they're non-refundable. I can't change the date. I can't change anything, but I'm buying them. And so I did. And 2 days after I bought tickets, um, one of my Facebook friends messaged me, just kind of asking me some random questions about when I was going, what airline, yada yada. I'm like, why are you asking me all this? And I had already bought my tickets, so um, what this friend of mine wanted to do was send me money to cover the cost of my airline ticket. And my airline ticket was $1,120, and this friend sent me $1,500. So not only was that enough to cover my airline ticket, it covered my food while I was there. So that's amazing. Um, the pilgrimage company that I have used, this will be our third pilgrimage in October, and I already have a fourth one scheduled. I kind of finally let them know what was going on with me, because I'm their client that is, on top of things 100%. If you misspell a word, I'm going to let you know. If you misspell somebody's name, I mean, I'm just detail oriented, and they knew this. And so they didn't worry too much about, um, my pilgrimages, because they knew I was on top of it. So I want to let them know, hey, I'm not feeling well and I'm not on top of it right now. And they were so loving and caring, and they sent me a check, and they also wanted to pay for my airfare, buy my ticket to go to Panama. But because I already had it, they wanted to, they told me, look, this airline ticket is here anytime and anywhere in the world you want to go. So I'm also going to, because of that, be able to go visit my youngest son in California without it being any cost to me. And we haven't seen him like 6 months or so. So still not working. I'm been home from stem cell treatment for 2 weeks. I'm doing fabulous. I cannot imagine going back to the doctor at the end of September and her not letting me go back to work. I already have a plan to have a list of all the things that I can do that I couldn't do before. So she's definitely going to have to let me go back to work. But still, this has been going on since January, and there's still money in the bank. There is not a zero in the bank account when payday rolls around. And again, I am getting a long-term disability check, but it's, for a month, it's about what I could bring home in a week. So, yes, it's helpful, but it's not the same as bringing home a paycheck. Um, it's just been phenomenal. And I cannot help but think and know in my heart that this journey and this struggle, um, God has taken care of me, not just with my health and answering prayers, but He's taken care of us financially. And um, I think that's a direct relation to tithing every week and following what the scripture tells us that we are to do as Christians. So I wanted to share that with you, not just my followers on my Facebook group or my YouTube channel, but I wanted this video to be able to be shared with other parishioners um, and whoever might benefit from it, to be honest. So um, I'm going to let you go. This is an extra long video, and like I always tell you, if you want to follow my journey, um, to subscribe, like, and share my YouTube channel, and also come find me on Facebook. My Facebook group is public and it's called Martha Stem Cell Story. So I will say goodbye now. Thanks.